Hi, I'm Mike Morales. You're watching Sipping Off the Cuff on TequilaAficionado.com and also Tequila Aficionado Media. I'm here in San Antonio, and that gentleman over there is...
Rick Levy in San Diego.
And Rick, we have been waxing poetic about 512. Tequila 512, if you've been watching us, you know that their Añejo last year in our 2016 Brands of Promise won a Brands of Promise for the Añejo category, and also for packaging. They won the medal as well. And they loved our review so much that they said, okay, well, can we resend you the Blanco and the new Repo? And sure, why not? So for 2017, we've just discussed the resubmission of the Blanco, which to me had a really different flavor profile. And you know, here the one thing we forgot to mention is that it also won double gold in 2015 in the San Francisco World Spirits. So it is
And
now
Best in Show.
yeah, this is now an award-winning tequila that is affordably priced, and Rick pegged it. You know, it was a heck of a value category, and the Añejo was just stellar. We loved the Blanco, the resubmission, and so tonight we get to try 512 Reposado.
And I have not cracked the seal on
Oh,
that yet.
you haven't? Okay.
Truly off the cuff.
Well, it usually always is off the cuff because we never really share any notes prior, because I don't want to know what he thinks. He doesn't want to. He doesn't really care what I think. So
Well, and you know, we kind of we go for different things as well. Like I
yeah.
think I tend more toward the highlands, and you like the lowlands.
Well, it was really neat what we did with the previous tasting we did with El Consuelo. We were using separate glassware, and we were pulling out different things from the same tequila, which was really, really cool how we did that. And that was totally off the cuff. So, but I'm going to use my Glencairn tonight, and we're going to pour some of this Reposado. Oh man, it's such a pretty color. My lighting now is probably too bright where you can't really tell the. There you go. Yeah, it's more of a more of a darker straw color. Almost a, what do they call it? Do they call it like a light amber?
I don't know if I saw the color labeled.
What I do want to know is how many months they aged this in.
6 months in charred oak bourbon barrels.
Okay. All right. So it's a 6, and that explains the light touch on the color. So, wow. Now, see, I'm not getting any of the sweet floral notes that I got at the beginning with the Blanco. Not right now.
Yeah, I'm getting the.
And again, it could be my glassware. I for the Blanco, I
Could be.
used a Riedel, and this is a Glencairn. So
Yeah, I was using a Glencairn on the Blanco, and I was having a harder time pulling that out.
definitely more wood on this one. It
Yeah.
almost smells like an añejo. It's got a really strong aroma, a wood aroma on there.
Yeah, there's a lot of wood going on there. You can still pick out the it's agave forward. You can pick up the Blanco, but it's definitely the Blanco's definitely been rounded out by the wood, and there's a whole new layer going on with the wood.
Yes, exactly. And the influence of the bourbon barrel is very pronounced.
Which is interesting because in the añejo we felt that the barrel had a very light touch.
Yeah, yeah. And what do you think, Rick? Is this a trend now? I mean, I used to know the gentleman that came up with Tequila Rack. I asked him, and maybe I told you the story. I asked him, why did you pick Reposados? And he said, Reposados to him is it's the toughest version or expression of a tequila that you can make, because it'll make or break your whole line. And so he picked micro distilled Reposados for his tequila rack. And I'm beginning to see, Rick, at least there's a trend here where we're finding that the Reposados are making more of an impact. There's more of a message going on, and then the añejos are either above or just slightly under that message. Like, for instance, well, of course, El Consuelo is organic, but the El Consuelo was more of really an after-dinner sipper as opposed to an amplification of what the Reposado is going to be. But this really smells. There are añejos that we've had that have this kind of a nose.
Yeah, they're really making a statement with this Reposado, at least with the nose so far.
Yeah, I'm not getting any of that initial sweetness from the Blanco.
Yeah, I'm getting more of the the traditional lowlands, citrus, herbal, agave underneath the wood layer.
Yeah, that.
And so, how would you describe what the wood is adding here?
Well, we can say, I guess, on the nose, I wouldn't call it a masking so much as it's trying to give it a different personality. Because you can put the Blanco and the Repo together, and it's almost like two different pieces, two different juices. It's almost like it's almost as if it's not starting with the same Blanco, but that it is. Yeah. That's why I say, in the nose at least, it's making a different statement.
Yeah, it's not so much a continuation of, but an additional, it's making a separate statement from the Blanco.
I have to really dig down in a Glencairn, and you don't do that very often with a Glencairn, to try and pick out that sweetness from the initial Blanco. Because the barrel, the wood is so prominent.
I'm just getting just the slightest hint of vanilla. Like, I'm trying to pull out any kind of bourbon notes that I'm getting.
But it's at the bottom.
Yeah, and it's just like a slight vanilla hint.
Yeah, it's not. It's really interesting. It's not the sweetness that you're getting at the Blanco. It's almost like you're getting it's almost night and day. They're not like brother and sister. They're like cousins.
Yeah.
All right, let's give this a try here. Wow. Wow. Wow.
That's nice.
Wow, that had the peppery explosion of the Blanco, though. You notice that?
Yeah.
And
nice
the finish is still there. That's where you know that the Blanco was the base of this. You won't tell on the nose. You will on the intake, though.
Yeah.
That retro nasal on the wood.
Big agave flavor, and the wood is the wood's not heavy-handed in the flavor. I don't think.
No, it's really the pepper is what's more pronounced to me, and then on the retro nasal you get some of the wood, but you get that agave and the sweetness. It verifies that it started from the same Blanco.
Yeah, I am getting just a touch of sweetness and maybe a little butteriness from the wood.
Yeah, it's very slight, very slight. And I think now that it's opened up, Rick, now I'm beginning to get a little bit more of the sweetness that I got in the Blanco.
Maybe it's just you've had it in your mouth and you had the retro nasal and it got all up in there.
Well, and you that was the first time you even opened the bottle, so there's no
Yeah,
telling.
I just cracked it. Yeah.
I mean, I know you keep everything at room temp anyway, and you live in San Diego. You know, they don't even have air conditioning in San Diego. They don't need it.
Well, we do now. Oh, that's beautiful.
Mm. I will say it's definitely a heck of a lot bolder than the Blanco. It's got its own
Yeah.
personality, Rick.
Yeah, it's like a lot of times, you have like the big fresh flavors of the Blanco, and then a lot of times the Repo is just kind of a muted version of the Blanco.
Right.
And it's not until you get to the Añejo that you start getting, big barrel flavors. But I think there is a trend happening where people aren't relying on the used barrels to impart as many flavors. They're really just using the wood and not necessarily the thing that came before in the barrel.
Yeah, it really is like two separate versions. It's almost like two different brands. It's really kind of weird. Um, this is and again, they're out of 512 is the area code for Austin, Texas. Kind of like 501 is the one from what, Tennessee or something like that, or North Carolina. I don't know. So if it's named
Right.
after a number, now if it was a California based, you wouldn't know what number to call it because there's so many different area codes. Um, but this is really a bold reposado. I
Yeah.
like it. I like that in your face grabs you by the collar.
Yeah, and we found that I think we're finding that there's a little bit of machismo throughout the line.
Right. But the Blanco is definitely the sipper of the three. Which is really weird because most often the Añejo is the sipper, but that Blanco goes down way too easy, man. So this one kind of pulls the reins on that, but I like how it makes a bold statement. It really gets in your face,
Yeah.
and then once it opens up, you start to get more of that sweetness that you got in the Blanco. But I love the attack. The attack is
Yeah.
boom. It just
So
explodes.
it's almost, would you say in this line, it's almost more like the Añejo is the one that's muted?
Yeah, we're gonna have to. It's sort of too late now because that was their first and only submission was the añejo, and we put that up against other añejos. We loved it. I mean, you can go back and watch that añejo uh, review, and it's just really awesome. But this reposado, it'd be interesting during the year, Rick, to see how many repos we're beginning to see that are making that statement. You know, because this is a trend for us. Like you mentioned earlier, it used to be just a gradual progression. Now it's not like that. Now it's at least in the couple that you and I have done, it's almost like they're taking the repo and they're making a statement.
Yeah.
Maybe we're wrong. I don't know. But 512, man,
Well,
again.
I think it's great. It's providing it's really providing variety in the profiles.
Yeah. And by the way, and because they are very affordable, I think not only is
Yeah,
this
the
a
repo, they're pegging the repo, I think, between $33 and $35. You can get the whole line for under 100.
yeah. So this is a great value category tequila, but in a regular reposado category also, Rick, this will stand up, and we'll
Yeah.
see as we progress throughout the year. When we get to our Brands of Promise in 2017, we'll see how 512 measures up. Because if this is the case, if we're going to see more and more reposados making that statement, that repo category is going to be really, really tough. And I
Yeah.
mean, I'm already seeing trends because when we're filming this, Rick and I already have a pipeline that's coming, and that we have a queue that we're working with, and we're seeing infused tequilas. We're seeing organic tequilas. The organic category this year is going to surprise you folks. Wait till you see the other stuff that we're going to be tasting. And then that dark horse Reposado category. Who knew? You know, it'll be fun. This is going to be a fun year.
It used to just be the middle sibling, and now it's breaking out.
Yeah. It was the stepchild, you know.
The middle child.
The middle child. But the neat thing too is that these profiles work great in cocktails. You know, they still have a full line of cocktails. I'm sure some of their older cocktails. This is from the old POS when 512 looked.
Well, that Blanco, you could do beautiful mixing with that Blanco.
Oh,
Not that you need, but
yeah, it really lends itself to mixing. And this Repo, I think this Repo holds up in a good margarita.
You think so?
I think so. Don't you?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. In my margaritas, I like to go more on the the citrus, herbal side.
All right. How about a Paloma then? More traditional, maybe?
Yeah. I don't know. You know, I really like this neat.
Huh? Hey. What I wanted to say is when you're in a value category, it's you don't feel bad having spent, $33 to $35 and you go, well, yeah, you can pour this in your margarita. You won't lose it in a mix. That flavor profile, I will say, you won't lose it in the mix. But like Rick,
what is the? I have some friends. They like to mix their margaritas with this. What is it called? It's this herbal liqueur that they get down in Mexico.
Oh, Damiana.
Damiana, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I could see this going really well with some Damiana in a margarita.
Oh, no kidding. Probably
that
so.
Kind of thing.
What I like is I think it's bold enough that it won't be lost in whatever cocktail you decide to put it in. So, hey man, more power to these guys. Again, 512. Watch out for them. They are big league now as far as we're concerned.
Yeah. So, congratulations to Scott Willis. You put together a fantastic line.
What a great lineup. Go find it. Go get it. It's affordable. And then if you're watching us on YouTube, down below in the comments, tell us what you think, and then subscribe. Because there's a red button there, and press the red button. You'll be happy. That's our take on 512. I'm Mike Morales here in the 210 or the 830, depending on who you got your cell phone from.
Yeah. Rick Levy in the 858/619.
See, I remember when it was 619. I remember I grew up in Los Angeles, and the only area code we had for years was 213.
It seems like most of the 619 now is like south of Mission Valley.
Yeah, well,
I think when you go north of Mission Valley, they try to push the 858, but I don't know.
When I lived in New Mexico, Albuquerque, the whole state is 505, and at one point there was some talk about giving Albuquerque another area code because it was growing so much, and they refused it. They said no. There's a cachet by having a 505 area code. So anybody who calls me knows that's how my number starts. So, but that's not where I live now. I live in the 810 area code. No, 210. Sorry, 810. I don't know where the hell that is. But whatever you do, look us up on Tequila Aficionado Media, tequilaaficionado.com, and YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Follow us all.
Go to your liquor store, look for 512. We've nominated it for the Reposado category and the value category.
Yeah, and then tell us what you think. Again, as we like to say here,